So today we're talking about how our attachment style shows up in our business. So oftentimes when we are starting a business and we are entering entrepreneurship, we go to the business coach, the self-help book, the finance book, all the things, and we're consuming all this information. And some of it is incredibly helpful. And then other times we are consuming it without being able to actually integrate it. So why aren't we able to integrate it? Well, when we have an unprocessed attachment wound, so an activated anxious attachment wound, an activated avoidant attachment wound, and an activated disorganized attachment wound, those are the three insecure styles. We have to look at, oh, I don't feel safe to integrate what I'm consuming because I have this activated attachment wound running my entire nervous system. So for those that are new to this work and my world, the way that I work is from a trauma and nervous system lens, because our attachment wounding and our trauma and our nervous system literally creates our lives, because it's responsible for the energy in which we are vibrating at. It's responsible for how we live through either survival mode versus safety. It's responsible for the way we think, the way that we feel, the way that we relate, the way that we act, and that creates our lives. So when we are children, our nervous systems are wired in survival mode, and we develop certain symptoms of different insecure attachment styles. So for example, a lot of the clients that work with me have more anxious attachment styles. And then they come to me and they're like, I want to start this business. And I never advertise myself as a business coach, but I do help a lot of clients with business, because we can't effectively start, build, grow, sustain, nurture a business if we are not tending to the little younger part of us that is terrified and running the show. We can't bypass the fact that our attachment style affects every which way that we relate to our business. So let's break it down per attachment style. So if you think about in your mind the way that your business, you want it to go, right? You want to have a lot of success. What does success look like? You are making money. You are supporting yourself through your business. Maybe you're able to, say goodbye to that 9 to 5. Maybe you are attracting just dreamy clients that you love working with. You're making money. You are living out your purpose. You're feeling really, really good and connected. And that is what we would call a securely attached business, right? It's you feeling safe to show up. It's you feeling safe to be with the unknown. Now, the thing is we can visualize and want all of the dreamy things, all of the things that are really exciting, like the clients, the money, the purpose, the impact, the freedom, the time freedom, the money freedom, all those things. But what people don't realize is that to get to all of those things, we first have to address the underlying root that prevents us from feeling how we want to feel in our business, which is, how safe do you feel to be in the unknown? How safe do you feel to be rejected, meaning someone saying no, they're not interested in your service, your product, you're working with you, whatever it might be, whatever kind of business you have. And you take that personally as if they are rejecting you. How safe do you feel to raise your prices, knowing that not every client is going to be able to come with you and afford you? How safe do you feel to be honest about when you're relating to your prices through ego or through trying to feel good enough or trying to prove something? So there are so many ways in which our inner child takes over our business, right? Whether we're relating through ego of either a inflated ego versus what we call a porous ego, which is an ego that doesn't have a strong enough sense of self. And so you're just taking in everyone else's energy. You're not staying connected to you. Maybe you're people pleasing. The thing is, we need a healthy ego, but it's when it becomes too high or too low, where we either need a stronger sense of self or we are getting disconnected from our actual authentic selves and letting ego get flared and, make decisions from that place. And so these are very sneaky, subtle, energetic ways in which our attachment wounding shows up. So for example, if you're anxiously attached, it might show up as following up with that client for like a fifth time, being like, do you want to join my program? and there's this graspy energy, or maybe money comes into your business and you're like, oh, I can breathe because something outside of myself is coming in and it makes me feel safe. And maybe you attach on to that client that worked with you for a month but doesn't want to work with you anymore. It's like this energy of attaching on for safety. It's little you grasping on for safety outside of themselves. Or if you struggle with avoidant attachment, you might struggle to show up at all. So anxiously attached people lean too far in where they're like, oh, grasping on. And then avoidantly attached people lean too far back. And so the magic recipe to get to that homeostasis, that balance of secure attachment, is the anxious attachment person leaning back, showing up, doing the inspired action for your business, and then leaning back to say, I've done enough. And now I just have to focus on regulating my nervous system and feeling safe to receive, because manifestation is a two-part process. It's one, the inspired action. Two, getting your energy behind that inspired action. So if you are, let's say, a content creator like I am, and you're posting on Instagram, advertising your So if you are someone who is showing up online and you're, posting consistently, and let's say you're anxiously attached and you post, and then you immediately go to your phone and check, did anyone sign up yet? Did anyone message me? You check your Stripe account to see if any payments came in, and you're just like frantically in this waiting energy. That's how you know that your anxious attachment is taking over your business, when it's this waiting energy. Well, I can't feel at peace unless I know that I met my goal of X amount of people signing up, or I can't, sleep at night knowing how am I going to pay my rent. It's like this grasping outside of yourself feeling. So how we relate through secure attachment would be you show up, you make the post, you email the people, you share what you got to share about your offer, and you share it a lot because we need to share it a lot. And then when we feel like we've done enough for that moment, which sometimes it can feel like it's never enough because you could always be talking more about your offer. But the thing is you also have to let it time, you have to give it time to marinate. So if you're putting out an offer and you do all the things, the email, the post, the stories, the, sharing it with people that that you think that could benefit, like you could do all those things, and you have to give it time to then marinate, to let people view it. But if you're constantly inundating them with like more, it's like it just gets too much. And then it's a repellent energy, right? Like think about you as a consumer. What makes you say yes to buy something? It's because you're not freaking bombarding people, but you're sharing it in a really grounded, confident way. But then you are leaning back, right? You are trusting, you are releasing control. So that's how we relate through secure attachment, is you show up for the inspired action. And then what I do is I practice putting my phone away, shutting off the computer, and go laying down and tending to my energy, because I could be taking all the action. But if my energy is contracted in survival mode, there's so much fear in there that I'm just going to attract more of that. Like it's a reflection of what's happening internally. So if you share an offer and then it's just crickets, it's because there's something happening in your energy. Where are you not believing in yourself? Where are you not believing that your offer is good enough? Where are you not staying connected to the why behind your offer? And then you have to tend to that fear so that you can release it through your body, like getting out of the head and breathing into your body, anchoring to the sensations, and then making space for safety to receive. Because when you're living through all this fear, it's blocking you from being able to actually feel safe to receive because you're scared, right? And it doesn't mean we can't ever receive when we're feeling scared, but it means if we are so contracted with fear, and that energy of fear is living in our bodies, and it's like there's physically no space because it's taking over our body, we're not going to feel safe to receive, because receiving is going to make us feel more scared. And so we're rejecting that. And so when you tend to that fear and allow it to move through and get yourself to a place of safety, you have this, like, think of it as like a blank canvas in your nervous system. It's this fresh, clean, neutral energy of like, I can receive because I've moved through the fear. We can't receive what we don't feel safe to receive. We're going to reject it because our nervous system is in survival mode saying, nope, that's a threat. So even when your brain is like, but I want the client, I want the sale, I want this thing. Sure, you might cognitively want it, but if you're saying out of your mouth, I want it, but then your nervous system is like, danger, 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 you're not going to be an energetic match to receive it, because your nervous system is naturally going to energetically repel it, because like attracts like, right? It's like physics 101. It's like we have to look at if there's the energetic frequency of I'm scared of this thing, I'm scared of this thing, it's not going to call that thing in, it's going to repel the thing. Whereas when we process the fear and we land in this neutral, like safety of feeling safe in the moment, we feel grateful in the moment, we can access connection to ourselves, to our why, to something bigger than us. And it doesn't just become about our needs, right? Oh, I want to launch this thing because I need to pay the bills. Like, sure, we all have bills to pay, but like you started your business to make money in a specific way through your business. If not, you could be walking dogs, you could be working in a restaurant, you could be making money a million different ways. So you have to come back to, why do you want to make money this way? Why are you choosing to have a business with this? What is your why? Come back to your why, because our why is going to be so much bigger than ourselves. Our why has not anything to do with, oh, I need to get my emotional needs met. I need to get my needs met. Me. It's, oh, I was put on this earth with specific gifts that I meant to share, and it can help people. And when we anchor to that being of service, when we anchor to that why of I can be of service, our vision, our mission becomes so much bigger that even on the days where we don't feel like showing up, or where fear starts to take over, we can come back to, this is bigger than me. It's not about what I feel like doing. It's not about like what mood I'm in. It's how connected am I to the vision that I want to create with my purpose, with my life. So that's how we move through it more with a secure attachment style. If you're struggling with anxious attachment, it's really leaning back and knowing that the action you've taken is enough and focusing on that energy. If you're avoidantly attached, it's leaning in a little bit more, showing up a little bit more, noticing where you are avoiding your business, where are you avoiding clients, where are you avoiding confrontation with clients, where are you avoiding, like in general, right? And anxiously attached people can still avoid. It's us avoiding ourselves by focusing on the outside, whereas avoidantly attached people, it's more about I'm avoiding the outside, which is still an avoidance of self because it's a mirror for the internal. So it's, where am I avoiding the outside, because that is a mirror for actually having to look at myself. So we really want to look at how this shows up in all the different ways. And if you are more avoidantly attached, you want to then lean in and be able to, I love when my exes join my live. Hello. I welcome them all. It's okay. I always find it fitting though, because it's like every time I'm talking about attachment style and then one of my exes shows up. And I'm like, oh, they know about my attachment styles. Anyway, so it's really looking at, where are you avoiding? Where are you not leaning in? Where do you need to lean in more? Where do you need to lean back more? That's why it's this like delicate balance. And then really looking at, before you take the action, can you actually get honest about where your energy is at? Because again, you can take all of the action, but if your energy is contracted and coming from your unprocessed childhood trauma and pain, it's going to repel the money, it's going to repel the client, it's going to repel all of that. So it's being honest about, why am I taking this action? Is it because I think I should do that? Is it because someone else is doing it? Or is it because it actually feels in alignment? It actually feels authentic. It actually feels rounded. It actually feels like it's coming from this place of desire and connection. Like, that's when you are connected to you, your external in your business reflects that. When you are leaking energy, overthinking, comparing, looking outside of yourself, your business is going to feel leaky. It's going to feel unstable. It's going to feel inconsistent. When you are tapped into you, connected to you, connected to your body, connected to your energy, connected to tending to that younger part that gets scared, connected to your vision, connected to your why, when you're so tapped into that, it's inevitable that the external starts to reflect that back to you. So anything that's not happening in your life is an energetic issue. It's looking at where am I vibrating at a frequency of survival mode that is, if I'm running from a bear, I'm not going to be able to take on more clients. And so even if you're not physically running from a bear, that is how your nervous system responds. And so you have to get your nervous system back into safety. And how do we do that? We get still with ourselves every day. We get still to turn off the noise, shut out, shut the phone off, like get still without any of the distractions and connect inward. Every night when I do my meditation, my chanting, my journaling, and I put all the distractions away, I get tons of information and clarity, and then I write it all down because that is my connection time. But we can't connect when we're running from a bear. And so if you're running from a bear, which means going on your phone too much because you're avoiding yourself, watching too many episodes of TV because you're avoiding yourself, asking everyone else for their opinion because you're not trusting yourself, it's less going outward, more tuning inward. The last attachment style that we didn't cover is disorganized. This is anxious avoidant attachment. It's when you have both tendencies of anxious attachment as well as tendencies of avoidant attachment. So I had a client, she was like, oh my God, Rachel, I realize that I'm relating to my business the way that I do my partner. And I said, yes, exactly. And she's like, I know you told me this, but it just really landed in my body. And she was like, I am so all in, all out, half in, half out, hot and cold with my partner. And that's how I am with my business. I'm only showing up for it when I feel like it. I'm only showing up for it when I'm running out of money and I need motivation to make money. She's like, I'm then so consistent and then I'm so inconsistent. I'm so consistent and then I'm so inconsistent. That is disorganized attachment. That is like, I'm all in and I need the money and I'm going to, ooh, or, oh my God, this feels too overwhelming, or like, oh, I can just coast now, right? All of that is about your inner child feeling safe. It's not about your vision and your why. All of that is about you instead of being about why you actually started your business. Because again, if you just want it to be about you, which is fine, there's no shame in that. Be honest about that, and then understand that a business where you're serving human beings is not going to be the aligned path for you. If you just want it to be about you, what are some ways you can make money? Let's see. You could, I mean, everything has to do with something outside of it, right? Dog walking, you're doing it for you, but you also are caring for dogs. Babysitting, you're caring for you, but you're also caring for children. Let's see. Even being an influencer, if you get paid through social media, you're still influencing other people. So we can't actually do anything where it's just about us, because we're always connecting and serving and relating through other people. If you're a product-based business and you make a product, well, why are you making that product? Because you want people to use it and be happy with it, right? So I take that back. You can't actually do anything that is just for you. Like, even if you're a painter, you share your art with the world because it impacts people. It's always about more than us. It's about self-connection, which then leads to connection with others. So yes, start with why are you doing this for you, but then extend it to why are you doing this with other people. So if you have more of that disorganized, hot and cold, in and out, all in, all out attachment style, you want to really build consistency. So that means that you don't go all in full throttle in an anxious, frenetic way. You go all in a grounded, calm, consistent way of, okay, instead of like overcompensating for me being, MIA from my business the past 3 weeks, and now I'm going to go all in the way that you would with food, the way that you would do it exercising. Oh, I haven't exercised in 3 weeks, so now I'm going to exercise 500 hours a day. It's like this overcompensating energy. You start small. You do 1 to 3 daily consistent things to move the needle forward in your business. And then you build consistency with that. And when you notice a desire to lean back and get avoidant, you lean in a little bit. You notice what's happening in my body where I'm getting avoidant, and you tend to that root emotion. Okay, I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling terrified. Okay, why? What am I feeling scared of? What does little me need to feel safe? What would a child who's feeling terrified need? They need holding. They need space to feel their fear. They need to be seen. They need co-regulation, and give them that. So less is more in business. If you can consistently show up consistently, right? Like, and that doesn't mean we don't have a flow state. I have a client where We talk a lot about like, well, do I have to show up every day? And it's like, it depends on your goals. Like for me, being in an active launch right now, I'm showing up even when I don't feel like it. I didn't feel like coming on today because my dog has to pee. My other dog is banging on the door. We live in a smaller place now than we used to, so I don't have as many rooms to separate them. And I felt my nervous system getting frazzled of like, oh, this is so distracting and I just want peace and quiet, and like want to have like a podcast studio one day where there's no dogs, there's no noise, there's none of that. But if I were to let that deter me from showing up today and sharing what I need to share, like that would be about me. And that would be about my nervous system and my inner child taking over rather than me being the parent and the leader of my nervous system and of my inner child and saying, okay, I can just breathe with the fact that my dog is making a lot of noise right now that's distracting me. I can just notice that and take a breath in and come back to why I am here on this live right now. Because I want to help you relate to your business from secure attachment, because that is why you're blocking your money. That is why you're blocking your service. That is why you are unconsciously being selfish, because it's becoming about you and meeting your inner child's needs rather than you giving that to yourself. And how do we give that to ourselves? We have to notice when we are searching for it outside of ourselves. And when we're searching for it outside of ourselves, we have to be honest about that and say, okay, what's actually happening? Oh, I don't feel safe to focus on myself. I don't feel safe to trust that the people will show up. I don't feel safe that whatever it is, that my offer was good enough, or that what I have to offer is good enough, or that I'm good enough, right? It always comes back to what do we make it mean about ourselves? Because that is little us. Our full, authentic, adult, empowered selves know that even when someone says no to our service or our offer or our product or whatever it is that we're offering to the world, even though it feels so incredibly vulnerable and intimate because it's an extension of us, it doesn't have to mean anything about us. Like you are always innately good enough. You are always innately worthy. You are always innately perfect. Imperfectly perfect, because perfect is not even a thing. It's imperfect, but it's imperfectly perfect, right? Perfectly imperfect. And so it's really looking at where are you allowing that, making it mean something, that taking it personal to take over your business and getting disconnected from your why. And then how can you meet those needs? How can you give yourself those needs? How can you get them met through hiring support, through a friend, through someone else, and not project that onto your clients? So it's looking at what attachment style do you lean towards, because we have a mix of all of them, but we gravitate more towards at least one or two of them. And then, and if it's two of them, that means you have disorganized, because you're really either leaning more towards anxious, more towards avoidant, or if you lean towards both, that means you're in the disorganized category, which just means anxious avoidant. So you want to notice when that's showing up, and then what do I need to do? How would I relate if I were relating through that secure attachment? Do I need to lean back, tend to my energy? Do I need to show up and actually take more massive action? If I am taking massive action, how can I do it in a way that is coming from a more grounded energy and tending to the fear that shows up, so that you're not projecting that fear all over your business? And I notice this like all the time. For example, the day after I launched my current offering, the Secure Entrepreneur, the live experience, I had 4 people sign up because I was so connected. I was so tapped in. And then after that, I had some triggers come up, family stuff, election stuff, just triggers that were taking me out of my body. And I didn't make any sales that week. Now, listen, there are people out there that they could be rotting on the couch and they make sales because that's not where their lack of safety shows up. They have this innate safety around receiving money. Maybe they received a lot of money growing up. Maybe money is just not as scary to them. It shows up differently for all of us, but maybe they're not attracting the partner that they want. Maybe they're not feeling safe in their body. So all the money in the world doesn't take up for how you want to feel in your body. And so I know for me that I don't make money. I don't attract people and sales into my world when my nervous system is dysregulated, because I don't feel safe to. So I got dysregulated from these triggers that happened. And this past week, so I launched this on 11/11. I had the 4 people join on 11/12. And then right now it's 11/20. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, exactly 1 week. I had 1 week where I was not feeling tapped in. I was not feeling regulated. Now, could I have shifted that energy more quickly? Yes. And sometimes life throws multiple things at us. So it's like, okay, I was dysregulated, then I come back from grounding. Oh, then I got hit again and then dysregulated. So it's this practice of moving through that dysregulation more quickly and more easily. And then as soon as I got back to feeling connected to myself, I had two other people join yesterday. So it's like your energy is always going to create your business. And so again, that doesn't mean you have to feel afraid of being dysregulated or being, like contracted with fear. It means that that's information of, I need to tend to this, because when I tend to this, it opens up space and then I feel safe to shift the energy and receive. So if you are needing support in this is exactly what we're going to be diving deep, deep, deep into in my newest offering, the Secure Entrepreneur Live Experience. We start December 1st. Today is the last day that it's on sale for $888, and then it goes up to $999. And it's going to be 9 weekly live calls where it's me and a group of people. The people who have already joined are just amazing entrepreneurs with such amazing gifts that they have to offer this world. And I'm so excited. I don't just work with one type of entrepreneur. Like, I don't just work with other healers or therapists. I work with a lot of artists who have a lot of narratives around like the broke artist and helping them shift that. I work with all different types of entrepreneurs. So it's going to be weekly live calls. We have a group chat. We have a group Q&A in between the calls. We have a 7-module program called the Secure Entrepreneur to teach you everything you need to know of how to move through triggers when a client triggers you so you're not projecting on them, how to feel safe to ground when you get dysregulated, how to relate from a securely attached place and a self-connected place. Because all secure attachment means is that you're self-connected. You're not attached, you're connected. The reason why we call it secure attachment is it's little you attaching onto adult you, because little you does need an attachment figure. You as an adult, you don't actually need attachment, you need connection. And that's the biggest thing is we call it secure attachment, but as adults, we don't need that attachment. We need to have little us attach on to adult us, which then allows us to feel safe to relate through non-attachment. And when we relate through non-attachment, it's I'm so connected to me that anything else that happens around me, I'm safe to be with it all. I'm safe to learn from it all. I'm safe to use it all as information. I'm safe to use it as a mirror of what's happening in my internal world. It's always about what's happening in our internal world, not so that we can try and control it or need to know. It's so that we can safe to be with all of it. And I had to remind myself of this because I'm so good at guiding my clients in it. But then sometimes when I have my own stuff come up, it's like I immediately am like, no, I'm relating differently. And then I end up bypassing the actual emotion. So my work is always be honest about how I'm feeling without making it mean anything about me, without my perfectionism showing up. And you would never know that about me because I literally help people feel their feelings for a living. And so I'm not exempt from this. I have to literally remind myself, you have to feel this feeling. Like, yes, you can relate differently to it, but relating differently doesn't mean bypassing the feeling. It means normally I would bypass the feeling. And so relating differently is feeling the feeling. So anyway, we have 9 weekly calls. We have the Q&A support. We have the actual 7 modules to guide you through everything you need to know. And then we're going to be going through the program together. So if you are someone who has bought self-paced courses and you need the accountability, you need the live Q&A, you need the support, the co-regulation, the deep dive into what's actually happening in your business. I'm so excited for this program. This is going to just change not only your business, but it's going to change how you feel in every aspect of your life, but especially your business. Because think about how many hours of our lives we spend focusing on building our businesses. People know that are in a 9 to 5, they clock out at 5 and they're done. Entrepreneurs, we have to create that boundary for ourselves. And sometimes we could always be working. So if we're always going to be working, we might as well fucking enjoy what we're doing so that it doesn't even feel like work. It just feels like I'm living out my purpose. I'm connecting to myself. So that is, yes, I think I covered. Oh, and it comes also with broadcasted Rachel riffs. I'm going to be riffing about the inside scoop of how I relate to my own business. So you guys can see how I move through triggers, how I move through dysregulation, how I shift my energy to be able to call in what I want in a non-attached way. It's not like, oh, I shifted my energy. Okay, where are the sales? It's, I'm shifting my energy and I'm trusting that even when it looks like it's not happening, it's all happening. That's faith. Faith doesn't look like, oh, I'm having faith when it all looks like it's going great. Faith is when it looks like it's not happening, you believe it is anyway. So, link in bio to read more about it. We start December 1st. It's going to be every Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And I'm so excited for this group. People have already started joining the group chat. It is just going to be the most delicious program and really what you need to take your business to the next level and understand the root of why it's not feeling the way you want it to feel, both internally and externally. So DM me with any questions or head to link in bio to join. I hope this was helpful. DM me with any takeaways, thoughts, questions that come out of listening to this. And I love you all so, so much. And that is all. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye.